instead of using toxic dispersants, what our government needs to mandate is that the oil companies do exactly what we as individuals are required to do, namely contain the oil first, then clean it up. Fortunately, there are alternative technologies that are available to do just that. For example, there is a company in Texas called BioCell, which basically provides a type of activated cellulose. It's a hydrophobic K-sorb cellulosic-based product that will absorb oil like a sponge. And I would like to demonstrate that for you. But what we're doing here is very consistent with what we individually do all the time when we have an oil spill at home. If you spill oil on your counter, what you're likely to do is get a paper towel to clean it up. If you spill oil in your shop or in your garage, you're typically going to take sawdust and sprinkle it on the oil spill to clean it up. So there are better choices for how to deal with oil contamination in water. And I'd like to demonstrate one of those alternative choices. It's provided by a company called BioCell Technologies, and their product is called K-sorb hydrophobic fiber. In order to demonstrate this, what I'm going to do is to take some water in a jar and then contaminate that water with some heavy petroleum oil. And then I'm going to add the K-sorb fiber to the oil, stir it around, and then transfer the oil from the water to the white plastic so that you can see it. Then we're going to pour the remaining water into another jar so that you can see that the water is still uncontaminated. So we're going to pour this very heavy petroleum oil into the water, and as this is the same type of petroleum oil, it's a number 6 oil that we had in the other illustration, and then using this hydrophobic K-sorb fiber, which of course is non-toxic, I can use with my fingers. It feels almost like a cotton fiber. That is hydrophobic. So it's going to absorb the oil, and all I have to do is mix it with the oil. It's binding the oil, and using a stir bar, I can bind the oil together, and then even though we have a lot of oil here, remove it and transfer it to the plastic, which then leaves clear, uncontaminated water. So what we've done is take the contamination out of the water, preserve the water quality, and remove the toxin from the water. This is the way in which oil contamination of any body of water should be required by law. That's only going to happen if we urge our government to mandate these alternative technologies be used to preserve the living bodies of water that we depend on so heavily. Again, I remind you, a lot of our food and half of the world's oxygen comes from these bodies of water. We have only one Gulf one living Gulf, one living Atlantic, one living Pacific Ocean. And it's up to us to preserve them for ourselves and for future generations. So I would urge you to share with your elected representatives what you've learned today from a jar of mayonnaise.